Work hard.
Get dirty.
Use good soap. Goat milk stuff.
Hi there, welcome. Welcome to Homekeepers. How are you today, my friend? I'm so glad you're there. Wish you could sit down and have a good hot cup of tea with me and we could get acquainted. That would be great. But this is the best we can do right now, and if this is the first time you've seen this program, you don't want to miss this one. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. I think today we're kicking this up another notch. I mean a big notch. Because how many hostesses of television shows get to have a goat farmer on? And this goat farmer is the cutest thing you've ever seen. She's barely 5 feet tall. She has 8 children, and she homeschools them. And they run this farm with some of the greatest products. We're going to show you just some of the products that they have, whether it's soap, all kinds of, and there's a laundry detergent. And this all comes from this wonderful family, and the kids pitch in and do the chores. It sounds like a good life to me. And I'm anxious for you to meet PJ. It's been my privilege to know her now for about 20 minutes. And one of their newest adventures with this goat milk is the fudge. And boy, I've tasted that, and that's going to be on the market shortly. So you're in for a real treat on this. I'm glad to welcome to Homekeepers PJ Jonas, my new best friend. It's nice to have you here.
It's wonderful to be here.
And I read somewhere or heard that you said you're living your dream life. Is that true?
I very much am. I wanted to be able to have a life where the children were free to run around outside, to explore their surrounding in a safe environment where it was very much healthy living, and that's very much what we're doing.
Did you always want to have a big family?
I did. I never really set a number on it. I always said I wanted an even number, so 8 was just perfect.
Mm-hmm. So if you go again, you got to go to 10, right?
Yeah, it's got to, if we're twins, just make it a nice even number.
Yeah, that would be great. How'd you happen to marry a man who probably is very much in sync with this idea?
He and I actually met at college. We met my first weekend there. He was a year ahead of me, so he'd been there for a year, but we met and got married shortly after we graduated, and very much just agreed with a lot of things. We actually didn't know Jesus when we met. We both came to know him after we were married and after our first child was born, and we even did that within a couple months of each other, so it's been a very close relationship.
And it's the kind of relationship that you would really need for this, because if this is your dream, your life, be miserable to not have somebody,
Yeah, the whole purpose of what we do in the family business is for the family to do it together, for us to be able to interact, for us to live our lives together. And if Jim and I weren't on the same page, that wouldn't be working towards that plan.
Now, you always planned to homeschool?
Yes.
Okay. And at what point in this and wherever did an idea come to raise goats?
I had wanted the family to have healthy food. We had a very large garden. We raised almost all of our vegetables. We had chickens for our own fresh eggs. And I really wanted a source of healthy raw milk. And the easiest way to do that was to get our own dairy goats so that we could have fresh milk, healthy milk, whenever we needed it. Plus, it was also a way for the children to build their responsibilities and learn how to work hard in order to take care of something that required milking twice a day and required attention that the dairy goats do.
Yeah, you're giving your kids such a jump start in life, I think, because they need responsibility. And when you read about these teenagers and all who really get in a lot of trouble, sometimes they say they're bored, and they probably are. But when you have a plan and you keep them busy, and just the rewards will be unending for their lives. So are these Alpine Goats? Or
We do. We have Alpine Goats. When we first started out with a bunch of different kinds, and we fell in love with the Alpines.
Like I know anything about a goat, but I read it.
There's different breeds out there, just like there's different breeds of dogs, and these are the ones that we chose.
Well, why didn't you get a cow?
We actually had a cow for a little while, and they're a lot bigger. So, and since my children are fairly young and small, I was a lot more concerned about them getting hurt, not by the cow being mean, but just by knocking them over and stepping on them. The goats are much more manageable and easier to handle. They're a lot friendlier.
They don't go around and butt the kids,
No, that's.
I thought they were kind of had an ornery streak.
No, not ours. We bottle raise ours, so they treat us as
So they're your babies too.
Yeah. The kids just love on them all
now,
the time.
do you milk them by hand or?
My boys do.
The boys do.
My 12-year-old and 10-year-old milk the goats twice a day by hand. They right now we have an odd number of goats. We have 7, so that's kind of a point of contention as who gets to milk the extra goats. So we're definitely working back towards an even number.
So you can milk them like in the evening and put it in the fridge, and then they got this fresh milk in the morning. Is that the way you do it? Mm-hmm. So then from there, where did it progress to a business? Do you sell raw milk?
We don't anymore. You can't sell raw milk in Indiana, but you can have a herd share program. So we did that for a little while.
A herd share? What's that?
It's basically people buy part of a share in your goat herd, and so you're boarding the goat for them, and so you're just milking their goat so they can have some of their milk.
Okay, where'd the idea come for soap?
That started, I had a whole bunch of the children in the bathtub one day, and I sat there while I was bathing them, and I read the back of the baby wash.
You don't remember how many?
Well, I think it was like 5 or 6. We have a very big tub, so they all fit in there. And the back of the baby wash, for the first time ever, I looked at it and actually read the ingredients, and it was all petroleum-based chemicals and all these chemicals I couldn't pronounce. And I walked out of the bathroom that day, and I said, I am learning to make soap because I'm not using this stuff anymore. So that was the start.
Okay. Let's show them again this. I think it's a massive bunch of products you have, and it's growing, right?
We do. We keep adding new stuff. Basically, whenever we need something new, we figure out how to do it, and then we offer it to our customers.
So I know that I got some lip balm and a lotion stick, I think.
Yep.
And then you've got laundry.
Yeah, the laundry soap is a huge hit. Everybody loves that. We have an unscented version, so people with a lot of allergy sensitivities can use that, and it makes a really big difference.
Now, what makes goat milk really good for making soap?
Goat milk itself is very high in vitamin A, which is wonderful for your skin. It's high in lactic acid and the alpha hydroxy acids, which are very good at removing the dead skin cells and rejuvenating the skin.
So the goat milk already has that?
Yes, the goat milk is very high in that naturally.
Then what else goes into it?
Well, the goat milk itself contains cream and protein, so it also helps moisturize your skin. A lot of soaps and detergents out there will remove the moisture from your skin and dry it out, and with the goat milk, it's adding that in naturally.
I was sent some ahead of time, and I've been using it. It is creamy soap. It really is. And you're getting ready to branch out even more with fudge.
We do.
And
that's the chocolate.
Yes. It is so creamy. I think it was Wanda and I tasted some yesterday, and another gal upstairs, and we thought it tasted an awful lot like our mom's.
Yeah.
Fudge.
It's all just natural ingredients. It's just your butter and sugar and the goat milk, and it's actually got a very high volume of goat milk. It's not like a couple of drops.
That's why
it's
so creamy,
huh? Yeah.
Well, does goat milk taste differently than cow milk?
Some people say they can taste a difference. We don't. Well, actually, my kids say that they don't like cow milk from the grocery store, that they only like that. A lot of it it's a little bit sweeter because we don't remove the fat like they do at in store-bought pasteurized milk. And because we don't pasteurize it, it doesn't have that kind of chemical taste that the store-bought milk does.
I think I know what you're talking about, because my favorite memories were being on my uncle's farm in Longmont, Colorado, and I remember fresh cow milk.
Yeah.
And they let the cream rise, and my aunt made her own butter.
Yep.
Oh, you do too, that I suppose.
When in the past we have.
Is there a difference chemically between the cow and the goat?
Yes, cow milk and goat milk are different. With cow milk, the fat molecules are a lot bigger, that's what causes the cream to rise. With the goat milk, it's a lot smaller. That causes a lot of people to have less lactose intolerance. It's also lower in the lactose, so it doesn't cause a lot of the problems that people have with cow milk. So a lot of people who can't drink milk at all are able to tolerate goat milk very well.
Is it better for babies, maybe?
Yes, a lot of babies who can't do formula will be raised on goat milk. As we're out there selling it, I get all the time from a lot of older people who say, oh, I was raised on goat milk. I couldn't tolerate anything else but the goat milk, and that's what I was raised on.
I knew it was there, and I knew that, I use goat cheese once in a while, but you've really educated me, girl, about goat milk. There's a website on the screen right now, and it's goatmilkstuff.com, goatmilkstuff.com, where you can learn a whole lot more about this. What kind of a system do you have to homeschool your children? Do you have several grades, or?
We actually use a computer-based program. It's called Switched On Schoolhouse by Alpha Omega Publications, and it starts with 3rd grade. So our job as parents is to get the children reading well and comprehending very well and thinking, so that they're able to start that in 3rd grade and just take off. One of the things that we concentrate very hard on is to teach them the responsibility and the work ethic that they can really own their schoolwork and understand the importance of it for themselves, so that they want to do it and it's not something that mom and dad are forcing on them.
It's been my experience, because we deal with homeschool here with some regularity. I've had homeschool children here, and they're a special breed. They are extremely confident with adults. That's one thing I've noticed. Pretty comfortable in their own skin. They're not trying to get attention all the time. Have you had them tested against the curriculum of the world, so to speak?
We haven't. They're very much reading ahead,
Usually they do.
Yeah, my daughter reads at a college level, and they do.
How old is she?
She's 14. So we haven't done anything officially like that. When we take the goat milk stuff soap out to craft fairs and whatnot, they're always interacting with the public, and we have a lot of, teachers who'll come up and say, "Oh my goodness, they are so far ahead of my, my pupils." So
yeah, you can think about it. What could be dumber than taking a 5-year-old and putting them in a room with 29 other 5-year-olds?
Yeah,
doesn't make a lot of sense at all. I have known of and read recently of a couple of young people who went straight into Harvard from their homeschool kitchen table, really.
A lot of colleges now are really seeking out homeschool students, because what they're finding is that the homeschool students tend to have, instead of just a very wide, shallow knowledge, they tend to be very focused on what it is that they enjoy learning, and they're very specialized, and that's what college is like. They like people to be deeper into one area than just a big shallow.
Your church interests me also. Do you want to tell us about that?
Well, we attend a home church now. We have attended, when we moved to Indiana, we had attended various different churches and couldn't find one that we felt taught the Bible the way we wanted it to be taught, just sticking to the Bible. There was a lot of interpretations we didn't agree with. So we do attend a home church, and it's 6 or 7 families that get together every Sunday, and we preach the word. The children are involved as well. It's wonderful to always hear. My kids will always jump in on the prayer time, and it's very interesting to hear what's in their heart as they pray about stuff that they haven't always told me about. I hear a lot of that comes out in there, so it's
well,
been
the Bible
wonderful.
talks about the church in your home, and there is somewhat of a trend toward that right now.
Yes.
I think there'll always be all kinds of situations where people gather to worship, and that's absolutely fine. But you said there are other home churches in your general area. So on special occasions, can you come together?
Yeah, it's been, especially like in the spring and fall when the weather's really nice, they'll all meet together at a park and have a big outside worship service together.
Now, where do you make this soap? As I read it, you and your husband probably the superintendents, but the kids do the work. And I think that's wonderful, by the way.
Yeah.
Do you make it?
We all have our own jobs. So when we first started it, before it became a full-time business, we just did it in the kitchen. And then as it started to grow and we realized that we needed to bring my husband on full-time, we built an addition onto the barn. So we have a dedicated soap room. And my husband's the one who makes all the soap. He took over that probably about 9 months into the business. So he makes all the soap now. The children help afterwards, putting the swirling on the top so it's got some texture to the top. But they all have a different job. The little ones tend to bag the soap. My 6-year-old will wrap the bath bombs. He likes to put the foils on them and wrap them.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, my 10 and 12-year-old, they unmold all the soap and cut it up. My daughter tends to do with a lot of the internet shipping out the orders, and she's just now starting to really take over some of the phone calls and the correspondence and emails and stuff like that.
Well, I think it's just wonderful. I fully understand why you say that you're living your dream, and you're producing some wonderful children and
Thank you.
Children that can make a difference. And who knows, this could be their business forever.
Goat milk stuff has really made them be young entrepreneurs. They've all got their own thing that they're starting to do. My one son decided that he was going to start doing air fresheners. He calls them clefs, which stands for Coulter's Lovely Environmentally Friendly Fragrance Sacks. And he puts them all together, and so people can hang them.
Yeah, you've got an entrepreneur there.
And, and he sells those, and they all knit washcloths so they can sell the washcloths.
And we're out of time right now, but this family has been featured on PBS, and I can understand why. What a delight! What a delightful thing, and a delight to meet you and your husband. And I hope you got that website, because you can learn a whole lot more about this amazing family and the work they're doing. And I can vouch for the fudge and for the soap. It's great. Stay with me. I have a couple things to say before we have to say goodbye.
Work hard. Get dirty. Use good soap. GoatMilkStuff.com. Don't forget, subscribe today.